Welcome to Screen Riot, the show where we let fate choose the movie we review each week. This week's movie is 1986's Stand By Me. Now, fair warning, this episode contains major spoilers, so if you want to join along in the conversation, just go ahead and pause, go check out the movie, and then come back to the show, because this is Screen Riot. Welcome to the first ever episode of Screen Riot, where we take a look at a different movie each week, chosen entirely by random, by fate, by the spin of a wheel. Yeah. So the way we're going to do this is we have a wheel with the four hosts, Kyle, Eddie, John, and myself, Justin. We're going to spin that wheel. It will land on one of us. And then we're going to spin another wheel that has all kinds of different genres, like action, adventure, comedy, horror, whatever all the major genres are, and then that person has to pick a movie based off that genre. Yeah. And anything goes within that genre, and we're using the IMDb versions of that genre, just to be specific. So if a movie... What was that?
I'm going to pick love.
Okay.
Like every category, because love fits into everything.
No, okay.
Yeah.
Moving
well,
on.
we saw it in the movie.
Yeah.
It did fit everywhere.
Yep.
Okay. So, since this is our first episode, we went ahead and already did the wheel spinning earlier, and the first wheel landed on John. And John, you spun the wheel, and what genre did you land on?
I landed on drama.
Drama. Nice. So, just a real quick caveat about this. Once a person is landed on, their name is taken out of the running. So then next week when we spin, it'll only be the three remaining and then two remaining and then the last person. Yeah, and we do the same thing with the genre. Right. So now that drama has already been picked, we'll take that out of the running and that can't be picked again until the other hosts have picked a movie.
And we do that at the end of the show, so be sure to listen all the way to the end, and you'll find out which is next week's movie. And then you can actually follow along with us if you want to.
Yeah, that'd be really awesome. So, John, since you landed on drama and you could have picked any drama movie in the world, what did you choose?
I picked a classic from 1986 called Stand By Me.
Ah, okay,
yes.
Stand By Me.
Based on the 1982 novella by Stephen King.
Right. Now, have you seen this movie before?
I've seen it probably half a dozen or more times.
Okay. I've only seen it once, and I was like really young, probably 8, 9, something like that. And then, have you ever seen it?
No, I've never seen it. Nope.
Okay, so this was your first viewing.
First time, yep.
Okay.
So Justin and Kyle have hardly seen the movie.
Right, and you are
I've
6 times, roughly?
at least throughout my life at least 6
lifetime
times. When was I born? 83?
Yeah, 83.
yeah, quite often. What about you, Eddie?
This was like the 5th time I watched it. And, I mean, I wasn't crazy about the movie, to be honest with you. Like, the first 4 times I've seen it, it was better this last time. Since you chose it, I tried to be a little bit more open-minded, and be nice to you, John.
I was about to say, because you were having reservations about this when it was first chosen.
It's just not my favorite movie. Like, I've seen movies that do the whole coming-of-age, Bill Dungsroman, thing. I've seen other movies that have done that better, and I try to be more open-minded about it, and it was good. It just, still had its flaws. I mean, are you gonna cover like a synopsis of what happens?
Sure. Well, John, do you have the synopsis there, or do you
I
want me to?
I don't have it pulled up.
Oh, it's real easy. Here you go. 4 kids take a walk to find a dead body, and along the way, find themselves.
Perfect.
Yeah,
That's
exactly what it is.
Yeah. Very good synopsis there.
Yeah. Oh, and there's a lot of like latent homosexuality involved, and a shooting almost. No, there's a couple of shots fired. So yeah, there's a lot of other stuff like that
in town.
Shots fired.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a okay movie. I mean.
Right
again, it's not my favorite.
It's not my favorite. It's an okay movie. Be sure to go out and watch it, by the way.
Well, I mean, I'm not getting any kickbacks from them. Are they going to be giving me royalties after this? No. I mean, yeah, it's in case you guys don't know, by the way, it's got River Phoenix, Jerry O'Connell, Wil Wheaton, Corey Feldman, and Kiefer Sutherland in it.
Richard Dreyfuss and John Cusack.
Oh, that's right, Richard
That's
Dreyfuss.
right,
Yeah, I forgot.
He
Richard
plays a little
Dreyfuss.
bit part. In
Yeah, he's credited as the writer.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was directed by Rob Reiner, too.
Yes, Rob Reiner of the All in the Family. Rob Reiner.
Yeah. So since you've seen this 6 times, like, what brings you to keep coming back to this movie?
I really like the story itself. I think it's one of the best Stephen King book at. I think it's one of the best Stephen King book adaptations.
Okay.
That they've done. It doesn't seem like a book the way most book adaptations do. Yeah, I just really.
Well, Stephen King thought the same thing. Stephen King said that was one of the better adaptations of any of his books. Was Stand By Me. I mean, I'm still a big Sleepwalkers fan, though. There's just something about that mom and son. No, I'm just kidding. It was a very awful screen adaptation of Stephen King books.
It doesn't seem like a Stephen King novel.
Well, it's supposedly partly a true story.
I was about to say there are elements in there.
Yeah, there's some elements in there, but it's not a full blown novel. It's a novella.
Oh, okay.
So it's a short novel. I guess that's what a novella is.
Well, that's
honestly,
what
I have no idea.
Most of the stuff that, like, because I'm not a big Stephen King fan. I'm not a big Stephen King fan.
Right.
Well, yeah. So most of the stuff that gets adapted into movies, that I like are the ones that are his shorter stories. You know, like Shawshank,
Oh,
right?
yeah, I was about to say
Shawshank
or
was
Green
part of this
Mile.
collection,
Green
too.
Mile was really good, and those are his shorter books. They're not like The Stand, which if you've ever seen the TV version of The Stand, it's a god awful 8 hours long, and it's just pointless. It's a horrible. It's just not a good movie.
What was Thinner a novella too?
Thinner was a book. Actually,
It was the full book.
Yeah, and I don't know. To me, Thinner was okay. It felt like a TV movie.
It's not. Yeah, it doesn't hold a candle to Stand By Me.
No. I would agree with that. Even though Stand By Me is not very high on my list, I don't think that Thinner is any higher. Thinner would be lower.
I'm gonna have to say this though. I mean, Stand By Me is not in my top 10.
Okay.
It's like,
okay.
I just right. I just want to say that it's
You
not.
just enjoy the movie.
I enjoy the movie exactly. If it's on, I will watch it.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't even have a top 10 though.
I
Just to
can't
say that. I don't think I have one.
It takes me forever to even think about certain movies that I've seen, because typically when I watch movies, if they're really good and I'll watch them again, like John said, if you see it on TV, I'll watch it. You know, there's only a select few movies that I'll do that because mainly I don't really want to sit through commercials.
Yeah.
Seeing it on TV, but there's movies out there that rarely get me to I want to watch this today.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't. I don't know. If it's on, I'll watch it. If I go to a movie theater, I'll watch it. You know, type thing. But I don't know.
Yeah, when somebody asks me what's your favorite movie, that's probably one of the hardest questions.
Oh yeah.
What's your favorite movie and what's your favorite food? I really can't answer.
I like many foods.
Yeah.
Many foods.
I'm
Many
all
of
over,
foods.
Yeah. The speaking of the movie though, by the way, I wanted to talk about two things that were pretty interesting in it and have almost nothing to do with the actual movie.
Okay.
Of course, you bring up stuff.
Well, they pose the question, right? Mickey's a mouse, Donald's a duck.
I was going to bring this up.
What is
Oh,
Goofy?
yeah.
Yeah.
What is Goofy?
I think he's a cow.
No, he's a dog.
He's
He's
a
a
dog.
dog?
He's
Yeah.
a dog. But
He can drive and talk and
Wear
Yeah,
clothes.
well,
wear clothes,
Do you
but
wear-
I
Pluto can't.
could have sworn Goofy was a cow.
No, he's a dog. He's a dog.
Okay.
You know,
So
he
is,
does kind of look like a cow
Because he's
in
got the
that
two
world,
big
doesn't he?
he's got two big buck teeth. Right? Is that Goofy?
Yeah, it's Goofy.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Goofy.
I thought that he was everywhere I've
Everyone
seen
thinks
says
it's
he's
a dog.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought,
But what's
I thought he was a cow.
what's
I
weird
think
about
he's
it though
a dog.
is that Pluto also exists in that world.
Right.
And Pluto is a dog,
Right.
and they don't talk. Well, there's actually a fan theory about this. there's a fan theory about Goofy that there's different schools of thought. One is that Pluto and Goofy are both evolutionary. Like a
Like a branch off of?
Yeah, like they have the same ancestor, but they branched off, and
Okay.
Goofy is like a mutation essentially. Pluto's like still the pure dog. The second one is that Goofy is actually a human, and that in that world of everyone it looks like an animal of some kind. He's this big, nerdy, kind of clumsy person, and he looks like a dog, and he
He
kind of
just
takes on
happens
the
to look like a dog.
Yeah, he takes on the characteristics of kind of being like a goofy puppy, but he's actually a human, which is really interesting because I mean, if you think about it, there are no humans in the Mickey Mouse world, so
Right. They're all what was it? Anamorphized?
they're anthropomorphic.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just googled this real quick. And there was one article that actually kind of made an interesting point that dogs are actually lovable, or they're showing as lovable, but cows are actually edible. So Disney wanted to like hide that and be like, well, we don't really want to see Goofy eaten, so we don't necessarily want to like compare him to food on the table. So we'll just make him into a dog.
But wasn't there that other cow on the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse? There was a woman. There was a cow who was a woman. It was
Yes,
Yes,
I remember
and
that.
that's why I was just confused when Kyle said, "Isn't he a cow?" I'm like, you know what? There was a female,
Right, because
Cow.
it looked just
what was
like
her name?
Goofy.
What was her name? Like
I don't even know what you're
it
talking
was like
about.
Cowbell or she has.
I think it was Belle, actually.
Was it Belle?
I think.
In the older
I
times.
thought it started with a C for some reason. No, this is Mickey Mouse Club, man. Like this is, pretty modern. Like I can't think of what her name is though. I feel like it's
What?
a C.
Like mid 80s?
No, like 2000s. Like
Oh,
my kids have watched it.
Like recent.
Some
Mickey
researcher
Mouse
look
Club.
it up.
Yeah, and we need an intern.
But the second thing
I could look it up real quick.
Yeah.
well, the second thing I wanted to bring up too was the leeches scene.
Ow.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that was rough.
Have you guys ever had leeches on you?
No,
No, thank God.
I have.
I was
had
about
a
to
leech
say,
on
if there's
me,
somebody
yes.
here who might have had
it
a
would be
leech,
John.
go ahead, John.
Yes, I have.
Is this the reason you really picked this movie? 'Cause
No, this is
this
no.
some
I do not
repressed-
enjoy. I do not enjoy bloodletting with leeches. No, I don't. No, I've been. The reason that Eddie so kindly says that if anybody at the table is because I am a very outdoorsy, or I used to be a very outdoorsy guy, and I've swam in the swamp and had some leeches on my leg and on my back, and it is not fun.
Any on your Dugan?
Yeah, I was about to
Nothing
say.
on my Dugan.
Okay,
No.
so are they easy to pick off like they
Yeah.
were in the movie?
It's a good
Because they
question.
look like they just kind of brushed them
It
off.
depends.
Oh.
It depends on what kind of how long they've been there, how long they've had time to dig in. If you don't notice they're there, and they're there for a while, yeah, they can.
Oh man,
Did they hurt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I like to take,
Oh, yeah.
I like to take mine off like Rambo 2 though. Break out the 6-foot Bowie knife and carve
Just
them
take
off
'em
my
off.
chest.
I did like the accuracy though when they were peeling them off. I mean they were like actual red marks.
Yeah, it looked like little welts.
Yeah,
that they
so I'm
had.
like, okay, well that's cool. I don't know if they actually put leeches on these kids,
Yeah, they
or
could have.
I mean they could
Possible.
have, but I mean for that many to be on you, is it possible to have that many on you? Like we saw it in like what 5 minutes or something like that over the course of 5 minutes on film. I don't know how long they were playing in the water for, but
It didn't seem like very long.
didn't
Yeah,
seem very long. But then all of a sudden they had like 15 to 20 leeches on them.
In real life, no. I mean, unless you're like you came across a den of leeches,
Yeah.
and you rolled around in them.
Is that the correct
But
term, by the way?
I
Den
have-
of leeches?
I have
Or
no
Den of
idea.
leeches.
are they like a murder
I was
of
about to
leeches?
say a murder of
or-
leeches. I like that.
A gaggle of leeches.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I
gaggle.
would assume that it would be possible in that
Suckle.
amount of time. But I assume that is movie time, considering
Yeah.
there was a scene break
Sure.
in that.
Those
Right.
kids were totally unlucky, though. Like, I swam in the Amazon before and didn't come out with anything that I know of
That you
anyway.
know of.
Yeah. But these kids were in that creek for like 4.2 seconds and came out with like 32,
Yeah, they got a bunch
32
of
leeches
leeches.
on them.
I want to know. I mean, the leech on
Wil Wheaton's.
Wil Wheaton's Dugan.
Yeah. How'd it get there?
Right?
His
Well, yeah, how did it
Yeah,
get there?
because
He
they all
had
had
tiny,
underwear.
He had tiny whiteies on. He didn't have boxers on.
Yeah, there's nothing
I
going to be
don't know.
slipping in there.
No.
Those things
I
were
don't
tight.
know.
Not that I was looking that much, but
But I do like, and I laugh every time I see this. It's so wrong, but I laugh every time I see him faint.
oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Because it's so exaggerated.
I would
Yeah.
faint. Well, I mean, I have never really been a fan of my own blood on me. Like if I cut myself or something like that, I get really woozy. I get really lightheaded.
Do you
Yeah.
really?
Yeah,
Really?
I once cut my finger on some glass that I did a stupid mistake, and I dropped a glass bowl into the sink, and I reached for it thinking I could save it, but it had already crashed and broken into thousands of pieces. But it got cut, and it was pretty damn deep, and it made me a little lightheaded. I was like, okay, I just gotta rinse this out. I gotta
much
blood
blood did you lose?
Not even an ounce.
Got a gusher.
Oh yeah, it was bleeding pretty good. I mean, it didn't need stitches, thank God, but
That's funny.
Just remember.
I can totally relate to him fainting. Just say that.
Just remember, a falling knife has no handles.
Exactly.
Yes, right. And in the
sucking
same,
leech
the
has
same goes,
no bounds.
Has no bounds.
The same goes for a glass bottle. It's like the glass bottle, if it falls, just let it go. Just let it go.
Man.
What was the other thing you were gonna?
I also was going to say, and this is more about the movie, the writing in particular. Kiefer Sutherland's character Ace. It's weird to me how flat of a character he is. He's
just kind of one-dimensional.
Yeah, he has no depth whatsoever as a character. Like
he's just a pissed off individual every single scene that he's in.
Yeah, I mean, in some instances, like if you think about like Star Wars for a second,
sure.
If you think about the Emperor, the Emperor is a pretty flat character, right? I mean, we have some information about him, but for the most part, he's a pretty flat character. But at least there's some depth there.
Right.
Comparing that to Ace, there is no depth to this kid. This kid is basically rotten and mean to even his close friends, and he apparently wants to kill children. And that's about it. I can't think of anything else that makes him up as a character.
There is no endearing quality about Ace.
Well, no, an endearing quality, I can understand if you don't want to give him anything, as a redeeming quality whatsoever. I can imagine not giving him anything like that. Right. But how about anything that resembles a story? Like, we never see this kid's parents.
I was about to say.
We never see. I mean, we don't even really know where he lives. I don't think. Did that house, was that his house?
Well, in the whole movie, you only see Gordie's parents. You only see Wil Wheaton's parents. True. You see that you don't see any teachers, anything like that. You only see our four main characters who are 12. They're ending their elementary school career and going into middle school.
Yep.
And you see
the junkyard
Kiefer
guy?
Sutherland. Yeah, you do see. You know what? Yeah, I forgot about the junkyard owner. Yeah. You see him,
and then you see the
store shop owner. The store shop owner.
Yep. So your argument is almost all the characters in the film are super flat, so therefore it doesn't matter.
No. I'm not saying they're super flat. I'm saying that the entire cast is flat to begin with.
Yeah, except for Wil Wheaton. Yeah,
except for Wil Wheaton. But as the story progresses, with these four kids going on this journey, you see every scene. You see a little more about each of them, and you begin to understand what the narrator, who is voiced by Richard Dreyfuss, who is Wil Wheaton in the film, you start seeing those children and his friends more and more as a whole person. Why this kid is the way he is, why that kid is the way he is.
Yeah.
To an extent I agree with you, but I don't think we ever see okay. Do you remember the story that Wil Wheaton tells in the story or in the movie about the chunky kid, Lardass?
Yeah.
Okay.
With the pie eating contest.
With the pie eating contest. Okay. That story being told by, what are they, like 11 or 12 in that movie?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Being told by a 12-year-old has almost no depth. I mean, the only character in it is Lardass that we really have any depth of who they are.
To.
Well, yeah, and of who, like any feeling of actually who the character is. It only comes from one person, Lardass. So if you take that type of writing and you put that on Stand By Me, Wil Wheaton's really the only person we have any real knowledge of. Everything goes through his lens.
Right.
Which makes sense just because he's the one narrating it.
Right.
He's the one writing the book or the movie.
And I agree with you, but I think that's flawed. I think that you end up getting this really stunted 12-year-old version of a story that has Ace, for instance, being this homicidal murderer in 1950s America.
But it is told that the story is told through 12-year-old Wil Wheaton's eyes.
And the memories that he
has
remember.
back then. Yeah.
But see, that's the thing. It's actually told more through the memories of a 40-year-old guy.
Well, right.
Writing about his. But
that's been ingrained for 30 years.
Yeah, but don't you think you would try, like if you were to tell that story today, don't you think you would flesh out those characters a little bit more?
If I were, no, I don't think I would.
You think you'd leave Ace super flat? Okay.
Well, I mean, Ace is a jerk. Ace is not my friend. Who do we know?
So you wouldn't know much about him.
Exactly. Right. Who do we know in the film? We know we know Gordie's three friends.
Yeah.
That's who we know. The rest of them eyeball, which is Chris's brother, River Phoenix's brother. You have Kiefer Sutherland and oh gosh, who's the other one? The other one is Vern's brother. Actually,
yeah.
right. So you got those,
Eyeball.
and they're not friends with Wil Wheaton, so he doesn't know them. He knows his three friends the best, and that's why we get to know Chris and Teddy and Vern more on a personal level than the other characters in the film.
See, I don't even think we get to know them very well, though.
But see, we do. We know why Teddy is a kind of a little loopy kid who's obsessed with the military.
Yeah, Teddy's the one with the ear, right?
He's the one with the ear.
And I will argue next to
No, he
Wil
had an
Wheaton,
abusive father.
Yeah, next to Wil Wheaton, he's definitely the most developed character. But
Right.
even River Phoenix, who's supposedly the best friend, I mean, other than everyone expects him to fail in life.
Well, he has an alcoholic father.
Exactly.
And everybody that family is a family that has had a history in the town of being bad seeds.
Yes.
And so he's automatically he is a I'm not going to say diamond in the rough. He is an oddity in that family.
I agree with you.
He does not want to be seen as that,
But what else do we know about him?
and he's trying to break it.
But what else do we know about him?
Well, that's it.
That's what I'm saying. Super flat character. Hits his best friend, and we know like two things about
Well, I
him.
mean, no, we
Well,
know, but I mean, we know, but based on that, we know he's a good person.
Yeah.
We know at the beginning of the film, spoiler alert, we know at the beginning of the film he dies because the adult Chris dies because he's trying to make peace between two.
Yeah, between two people fighting.
two
You know, he
people
really
fighting.
cares for Gordie because they keep having heart-to-heart conversations throughout the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
So
but
he's a
that's-
good friend.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's just strange to me that the way that Stephen King wrote that story and the way that movie plays out, it's almost too much through the lens of a 12-year-old for me. There are pieces that feel like they're not complete. You know what I mean? And if you're gonna have an antagonist who's supposedly like and that's what's weird too, is most of the time if you're gonna have an antagonist like Ace, he's actually gonna be an antagonist. For the most part,
For the
other
most
than
part, they don't
one
ever
conflict,
Yeah,
they don't
they
even
have one at the beginning and one at the
Yeah.
end. That's it.
It's this weird parallel story that seems to be taking place where we're like keeping up on what Ace is doing. I mean, what? So we know that eventually he's going to run into them at some point in the future, one time. It's
Yeah,
strange that we like keep up with him this whole time for hardly a real conflict.
Yeah, the middle of the movie kind of is almost like a race against time movie because
Yeah.
it's really about them trying to find the body before the bullies do.
Yeah.
But they don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they don't know that the bullies are also going to the body.
No,
Right?
yeah.
In fact,
Both groups don't know about each other.
Yeah, and in fact, the bullies don't even decide to go to the body until 3/4 of the way through the movie or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's like
or
the
halfway
50
through or
50
something.
minute mark, and because they can drive, they're there like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like I said. I'm not trying to dog the movie. I'm just saying there's parts of it that feel unfinished. You know what I mean? There's parts of it that I'm like, well, so why? Like,
and that may go back to it being a novella, to
Yeah,
it
maybe.
being a short story,
well, I
for
think
lack of a better term.
I think Stephen King recognized it in a way. Personally, I think he did because of that lard ass story. Because obviously Wil Wheaton's character and Richard Dreyfuss's character is supposed to be Stephen King, right? So we have this mirror image of himself being played out inside the story.
Yeah, especially because he wants to be a writer.
Exactly.
and-
Yeah. It's obviously Stephen King. Well, the story that Wil Wheaton tells is almost not in terms of the subject matter, but in the way that the characters are developed, is almost completely mirrored within the way that Stand By Me is told. So you end up with I think the original story of the novella is called The Body, isn't
The
it?
Body,
The Body, yeah.
So the way that the body is written. So I mean, I think Stephen King was like, okay, well, this is not really meant to be a complete, I'm telling it like I'm 12. So it's going to be all this unfinished things. I just don't know if that makes for a good movie. You know what I mean? Like having halfway characters, having because typically you have at least half a cast or maybe not half, maybe 3 or 4 characters that are dynamic, round characters. Here you end up with a whole lot of flat and static characters. There's only a couple people that really change.
Well, I mean, to go to your point about Ace being really flat, I mean, do you have to fully develop something like that? I mean,
No.
All you have to do is say, okay, this dude's an asshole.
Yeah.
He bullies our kids here.
You can
in the
obviously
movie.
tell he's just a typical 50s.
Our protagonist.
I forgot that they do have 2 conflicts because they steal his hat outside of that little
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
They
I
only have
forgot
2,
about that.
one in the beginning and one at the end.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I don't know. I feel like if he's going to be the big baddie in the movie, I'd
all
like
you have to
know
do, all you have to
more.
know is you don't have to know why.
Right.
No, I'm not
the
looking
story
for-
is not
yeah.
about him.
Yeah.
The story is
Yes.
about these four boys and learning and their journey to find this body and how they grow. Because at the end, whenever they come home or whenever they walk back into town, I forget the exact words, but they say something about things will never be the same
Yes.
after this because we left as children and we came back men type mentality.
Yeah. Yeah, and I get that. I don't know. It again, it's not a movie I dislike as much as I just don't like it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm like, if somebody was like, "Oh, what do you think about Sandman?" I'd be like, "It's worth watching. It's a movie that I would say you should see."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like it.
Are we? And just to say, if we were to look at like if they were to remake that movie today, are we going to completely ignore the fact that it would obviously be about the love story between River Phoenix's character and Wil Wheaton's character?
I guarantee you that would probably go that
That's got to
direction.
be it's got to be a main
Yeah.
topic. I mean,
and one of them's going to be African American.
well, you'd have a diverse
One's
crowd.
Yeah, you would definitely
you'd have a female in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just going to be a group of boys.
Will be the I think
kids
I
from
think-
It.
Well, the movie
Yeah.
that's true. Or there's another movie called the Rim of the World. That's the same type of thing. There's aliens that attack, and it's a coming of age story, and it's the same thing. There's hugely diverse cast.
Yep.
Which is I like the diverse cast aspect of it. I'm curious if they would delve into because I kept waiting for it even the first time I saw it. I was like they've got to develop this obvious love story between River Phoenix and Wil Wheaton here.
Wow.
Yeah, not everyone agrees with me. But no, I mean, there's a, I don't know. I'd say at least 5 minutes worth of the movie that's just literally River Phoenix staring longingly into Wil Wheaton's eyes.
At what age? At what age did you first watch the film?
Probably 9.
And did you notice this tension between
I don't
The
think
lovingly looks.
I don't think so. I mean,
Because I
latent
didn't.
homosexuality. I mean, when you're early on like that, you hold your arm around your friend and stuff. You don't really notice things like that as much.
Right, because I didn't notice it until I think in preparing for this podcast.
Oh, really?
I watched it 3 times.
Yeah.
and I did not notice it until I started preparing for the show.
Well, I think I don't think that that's what they were going for when they made the movie. But River Phoenix in particular, he's such a pretty like even when he was like I think he was like 17 or 18 years old. He just has a very pretty skin tone type thing. He's very feminine.
attractive.
Right. Yeah, he's a good looking guy, but I mean in terms of like he's pretty. He's not a handsome like Gerard Butler is a handsome guy, right? Yeah. River Phoenix was not handsome. He's not ruggedly handsome. He's more of a pretty looking guy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
he had that look to him, especially in like Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You put a
he
wig
had a-
on him and you wouldn't be able to tell.
He had a
like,
pretty
you're
boy
like,
look.
Oh, okay.
I see what you're saying.
He's
Gotcha.
androgynous.
He's androgynous.
Yes,
Okay.
that's what I'm trying to say. So I mean, I think that played into some of those looks. It played into the whole like, okay, well, that's a really long stare you got going there, River. Just staring into his soul.
Yeah.
See, it's interesting you brought this up because, like I said, the first time I saw it I was either like 8 or 9 or something, and then preparing for this episode was the only other time I've seen it, and I noticed those moments that you're talking about, and I was like, well, that's a little long to be staring at your friend like that. That was kind of weird.
Yeah. Now that being said, he was a really good friend, like you said.
Right.
I mean, like, every time somebody got hurt, he was there. Arm around him, helping him out. Etc.
I for one did not look into it.
Well,
I guess I wasn't really. My mind wasn't actually going that direction.
Mm-hmm.
It was just hey, these are 2 or 3 or 4. I can count now.
1, 2, 3, 4. Four of them, right? There were 4 boys in the film.
Yeah. There were 4 young boys, and then they were just pals. Like they were just.
Well, no, and let me say this. I mainly went there because of the remakes, climate that we're in. Every movie has to be remade now and all that stuff. So
were you developing your own cast?
I did think that a young Jonah Hill would have fit in as Vern.
As Vern.
A young Jonah Hill,
Right.
not today, but younger.
Sure.
I think he would have been a good Vern because
That's
there
funny.
was a humor element to him, and I like
Yeah.
Jonah Hill. I think he's a good
Yeah.
actor. Other than that, I don't know who else. I don't really know kid actors today all that well.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. So
The only
If you were to recast it today, you're talking about?
yeah.
well, the only few that I know that are child actors that are successful are the ones from It
Yeah, and they're kind of
and Stranger
blowing
Things.
up, right?
And Stranger Things, yeah. That's really the only kid actors that I know that's like
And
making
there's
it.
one kid in both of those.
Right.
So
exactly.
I'm not gonna recast them with kids. I'm gonna say this: if you put Jonah Hill, young Jonah Hill as Vern, Kevin Hart as the Corey Feldman character, right? Like young Kevin Hart, or even today Kevin Hart. I mean, he's a short guy.
Yeah,
as
take a
the,
pass.
as the Corey Feldman
He
character.
can be a child.
He would still have trouble getting over that fence.
Right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Love you, Kevin.
I'm just thinking about him in Jumanji.
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
Jumanji movies. Kevin Hart's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably recast it with people like that. But again, I mean, you'd have to.
Who would be
Make a time
River
machine.
Phoenix?
I don't know who'd be. Totally androgynous guy today.
Leonardo DiCaprio?
No,
like
no.
a young Leo?
That would be
Yeah,
a good
young Leo
one.
would
Young
probably
Leo would
be
be a good
good.
one.
Yeah.
But I was thinking more of the guy from the Hunger Games, the one who plays the guy with the crazy sideburn beard. What's his name?
Crazy
Stanley
sideburn
Tucci?
beard.
No. He played Satan's son in Ghost Rider. I can't remember his name. Can you look it up for me?
Yeah, I'll look it up. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, he had the beard. He was the game designer in the Hunger Games in the first one.
Stanley Tucci.
No, it wasn't.
No,
Stanley Tucci
no,
was
Stanley.
the game show.
Yeah, he's the game show.
He's
the
like,
host.
Oh. That's right. Okay. Yeah.
You're not talking about Josh Hutcherson, right?
Josh
That was-
Hutcherson?
let me see. What's he look like?
no. You're talking about Wes Bentley.
Wes Bentley. That's his name.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Wes Bentley
that was the
would
guy
be-
with the weird sideburns.
Show them Wes Bentley because
yeah.
he's got
the
he's got
other
really
game-
serious eyes and stuff, but like flawless skin.
Okay, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the other game
Yeah.
designer was, I just had him on the tip of my tongue.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. His last movie, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh, he
Was,
died in the middle of making it?
Well, yeah, he died towards the end of making
Okay.
it. Yeah.
yeah,
Because I
he's-
thought they had to go back and cut around.
They were able to cut around
Scenes.
some and then
They cut him
digitally
out.
add him
Yeah.
into others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
who
sad.
would be Will Wheaton's character then?
I don't know. That one's a tough one. I'd probably go with.
At that point, you could probably just throw any.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, you could. It's almost.
You could throw anybody.
It's kind
in
of a
there.
shame, but you can
Jake
kinda
Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, you could like throw any
Toby-
male
So,
actor into
by
this.
saying
Tobey
that,
Maguire.
you're feeding into his problem with the movie. That
Yeah,
that character is just one dimensional.
It's kind of like he could have been replaced with anybody, and I think anybody could have been exactly the same.
Yeah, I think the weirdest character in that movie, and not because anything was wrong with the character itself, but Richard Dreyfuss, because he doesn't have a mustache in that movie.
It's
That is true.
There's
Yeah.
something totally wrong with Richard Dreyfuss when he doesn't have
does
face.
he?
When he doesn't have facial hair, I'm like, oh, it's not right. It's not.
Yeah, because when they showed him, I didn't know who Richard Dreyfuss was when I was 8.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So when I saw him this time, I was like, that can't be Richard Dreyfuss.
Yeah, you're like, please put a mustache on him, please.
Yeah. I was like, is it that? What? Okay.
You know what's funny? My barber kind of looks like Richard Dreyfuss, just a little bit. Like he doesn't have the hair at all. Richard Dreyfuss's hair is awful. My barber's got a good head of hair, but
I would hope so.
face wise, he kind of looks like Richard Dreyfuss, like just a little bit. Just enough where I can go Jaws. Like
You
you're
definitely-
Jaws.
Can you have him say?
Does your barber listen to the show?
Yeah.
Oh, a blatant plug for a free haircut.
Yeah,
I'm
really.
totally gonna make fun of him for it too.
But you wouldn't actually want to go to a barber that has really bad hair.
No, you're right. But I mean, I'm just saying.
Yes,
that-
you would, because then it just means that he pays more attention to your hair.
I'm just saying in terms of Richard Dreyfuss has really bad hair.
Yes, if they cut their own.
Yeah. No, Richard Dreyfuss's hair is just—it's not good. It's very spotty at best. So
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to ask this question.
sure.
There are 2 times in the movie where they're about to get hit by a train.
Yep.
Yes.
Someone is about to get hit. Have you noticed that the train did not apply brakes?
Oh, I know.
Whatsoever.
Oh, yeah, I was
Yeah.
watching
Oh yeah.
that.
Well, I mean, hell, back in the 50s, they had shit to do, man.
I guess I was like, kids,
But-
fuck these kids.
Yeah, but- Ring the horn 18 times.
Yeah.
Just gonna,
And you could see
get out of the way.
and it was always the old fashioned steam trains. That I guess it was just the first one was like a cargo train, like it was hauling a lot of cars.
Yeah.
But the second train, it maybe
It just
had
had the wood
Yeah.
the fuel for the boiler.
Yeah, it
That's
only
all.
had like 2 cars on it.
Yeah,
But
wasn't-
it makes sense if you think about the fact that the kid that they're going to see has been hit by a train.
That's true. You know what? That is true. I didn't
Maybe that was the whole
that, yeah.
thing. Is like, in our county, trains never stop for children. That's how this kid got killed.
You know what?
Our engineers are pricks.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Wow.
there's got to be something tying that whole thing together. I mean, otherwise, how? Why did the kid get hit? I mean,
Okay,
they
so
give a
are we-
story, but
We're just going to totally bypass the pie eating contest.
what about
Oh, we
it?
can talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
I laughed.
I was
my
about to say,
ass off.
you
on
laughed
that
your
I'm
ass
round.
off,
sure
didn't
you
you?
did.
Man,
I'm sure you
the
did.
revenge on that was epic. And when they were talking about he drank
drank
the whole
castor
thing
oil.
of castor oil.
I know, when he was-
Have you ever had castor oil?
no, and I
Justin?
don't.
When I was in a
want to.
pie eating contest one time.
Yeah.
Oh, was that you?
You? Have you ever
This
had
is
it?
autobiography.
Oh my gosh, I've had it too. It is the worst.
Why?
It
Okay.
is not good.
Why would you drink castor oil?
To make yourself.
Oh,
Yeah.
to make
the
yourself
restroom.
vomit.
It's a laxative.
Okay.
It works like a laxative.
Either vomit it or
I've
Yellow
always
way.
I've always known it to be a diarrhea
okay.
thing, or,
Yeah.
or like
Okay,
to
so-
help, or constipation.
Loosen
I'm
me
sorry.
up.
Obviously, if you drink enough of it, you're probably gonna
Yeah.
go the other way.
Well, I mean, not only that, but he drank a huge bottle
Yeah.
of castor oil and an egg, a raw egg.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
Ew.
what that does,
Well,
but
that would-
apparently it bubbles it up.
Oh, maybe.
That would just make me
I don't
vomit.
know.
Maybe the bubble
but
cuts.
what I thought. I mean, this dude Lardass was cheating.
Well, yeah, he was using performance enhancing castor oil.
No, he was.
Where's the Olympic Committee?
Yeah, I demand a recount. But his pies. I mean, he was just sticking his face in, moving it around a little bit, and then raise it up and says,
Yeah, but-
"Done."
Yeah, he was
You know?
only eating like
Hold on,
half of
and
it.
then everybody else's pies, like they were trying to eat all the rest of the pies, but he was just like face down, digging in for a little bit, and he was like, "I'm done."
But see, hold on. But I think that
That wasn't
was,
his point,
I
though,
think
to
that was
win.
movie tricks. Well, no,
Was
it's
that
not
movie
that. I
tricks?
think that
Okay.
was the movie tricks thing, because it's the same way. Like,
You got to keep it up with editing.
Well, if we're gonna talk about the pie eating scene, how fake was that vomit?
Oh, it was
it,
terrible.
it was
Oh,
obviously a
blatant, yeah.
tube like 4
There
inches
was-
away from their face.
There was one. I think it was the actual main dude that was doing the contest.
Mm-hmm.
He was like he puked all over his wife, but you could actually see him like
Yes.
squeeze the bag.
Yeah.
It was pretty
Really?
good.
I didn't
Yeah.
notice
So
that.
I think the pie eating the lardass, actually eating the pie. I think it was the same thing. You just have to suspend disbelief and be like,
Right.
oh, he ate the whole pie faster
Sure,
than
I
everybody.
got you.
I took it as he wasn't trying to win the contest. He was just trying to get as
Okay.
much in.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
next one.
Yeah, but the
Next
guy,
one.
the guy who is verifying the pies was.
Oh,
actually
that's
saying,
true.
like,
That's
he
right.
ate
He
them
was
all,
saying
and it's
it went
like,
through.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
obviously
okay.
not, but okay. I guess I'm
That's
gonna go
right.
with it. You got to suspend disbelief. Man.
Oh, yeah.
Just like I'm trying to disbelieve that, or I'm trying to pretend that the movie was actually,
Oof.
complete.
Ouch.
Well,
John's face every time.
At too brute.
yeah.
Every time I say it, it's
Stick
awesome.
that knife in a little harder.
Yeah, a
No,
little
it
harder.
wasn't-
Twist it just
listen,
a little to the left. Thank you.
Again, not the worst movie ever. Just it feels incomplete. But I agree with you. I just
Yeah.
think that especially the lardass scene was pretty funny.
well, speaking of eating, have you guys heard the rumor about the cookies at the fair
No,
about this movie?
No.
No.
cookies at the fair.
So apparently, during one of the scenes in the forest where the cast and crew were shooting at, there was a Renaissance fair nearby, and the cast and crew decided to go there for lunch, and so they had all kinds of the fair food and all that. But a bunch of them bought cookies, like all the kids did, and the bullies and Kiefer and all that.
Yep.
Turns out they were pot cookies.
Oh.
Oh no.
I'm sure they were totally shocked and they returned them immediately.
Yeah.
Oh
So-
no.
But apparently, Kiefer said
I've been potted.
Jerry O'Connell was like crying in a fetal position and high and everything.
Yeah,
It's
'cause
not
he was,
funny because he's a kid.
yeah, because he was like 11 years old.
It's not funny.
Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah, how
meanwhile,
old
was
was Kiefer when? Probably like
he was like
mid twenties, early 20s.
No, like 16 or 17. He's young, man. Like when he did Flatliners in '91, he was only like 21, 22 years old.
Oh wow.
So I mean, he was young still for Stand By Me. But yeah, I mean, like they didn't know. Like all the teenagers were like, "Oh, we just bought these cookies. We don't know what it's about." And
Yeah.
while all the little kids were like, "But I love cookies," and cry.
Yeah.
Jerry O'Connell crying. I could just. Jerry O'Connell cries way too much. Just gonna say every.
Yeah, if
every
I had
movie.
to take anything that was this like okay, this is a pretty funny movie, but that was the Lardass scene.
Yeah, I can get
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's
very
right up my
humorous.
alley. I love the.
It
And there-
is- it
I
is
love
twe-
that kind
it
of
is
stuff.
it is 12-year-old humor.
Oh, yeah,
That's
it's
right.
wonderful.
That's so you.
And there were some definite, and there were definitely some endearing moments.
Right.
You know,
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
there was some like the bonding between the two guys, etc. Like there was some things that I was like, okay, sweet movie. Like okay, I get it. there were just holes. You know what I mean?
Okay, and how
Yeah.
many of you guys? I didn't have a treehouse.
Yeah.
But every single 90s, 80s, whatever, they always had a treehouse or some sort of fort or whatever.
Yeah, like a club.
Yeah. I always wanted, especially after I watched Sandlot, I always wanted a treehouse.
Yeah,
too.
spent
Always wanted
many,
a
many
treehouse.
times.
Oh,
many,
yeah.
many hours. And
Sleepovers,
Yeah.
camping out. That'd be so cool.
yeah,
I
it was just
never-
a thing we did in the 90s.
I never had
Yeah.
one. I never
Like,
had one.
you go outside and play. Now you just kind of sit there on a tablet.
Sit
Yeah.
there on
It's
a
so
tablet.
depressing.
Sit there on the tablet. Does anyone have a favorite scene in the movie? I mean, yours is
yeah,
obviously,
yours
yeah.
obviously
Yeah.
Lard ass.
Ding, ding, ding.
The Justin, Kyle, do you guys have a favorite scene?
You mean Eddie?
in the film?
And
Yeah,
Justin?
that too. Eddie.
Well, Eddie was talking about the endearment. I think one of my favorite scenes, the first one that came to my mind, was when they were walking, and they were talking about him wanting to be a writer, and I was making the parallels in my mind because I didn't realize it the first time I saw it that this is autobiographical of Stephen King. He's putting himself in this script here, and that was kind of interesting. And I started, my brain started wandering, thinking like, did he have somebody maybe in his childhood that was, trying to push him into being a writer, like maybe a father figure or something, or a friend, and that's what the scene was about. And I started contemplating that, and I was actually going to ask you guys if you guys knew if that was a fact or anything. I'll have to do some research and see.
No, I do not know,
because that's something I would like to know.
Yeah, I believe that it did. I believe that he did. I know that there were people in his life that did push him along, but most of them, it was more like the lard ass scene. They taunted him, and he became who he was because he got screwed with as a kid. I don't have a favorite scene from that movie. Like when I look at the whole movie, it just feels. It doesn't feel like the whole movie doesn't feel bad, but it's kind of a wash of scenes. I don't see like anything, and nothing sticks out to me. I guess the scene with the gun with the kid, like the end. The end where he. Okay, I will say the gun scene at the beginning when he almost shoots somebody because River Phoenix hands him a loaded 45. Yeah. I'm like, what the hell just happened?
Do you believe him that he said that he didn't realize it was loaded?
Yes, I do, because I think he was just a stupid kid. But what bugs me about it is that you couldn't do that today. If you did that today, it would be some push to take away guns. So I mean, that's the only thing that bugs me about that one scene. But I like the scene at the end where he stands up to Kiefer Sutherland, etc. However, there is a flaw in that as well. Is that so he threatens Kiefer Sutherland, and Kiefer Sutherland's like, "We're gonna get you. This isn't over." And actually it is, because from there we never hear that he's telling these things like, oh, and Vern did this, and we hardly ever saw him again, and the other kid did this, and we hardly ever saw him again, and he's like, and then Chris died, and that's it.
Right.
It's not like Kiefer Sutherland came back 6 weeks later and kicked the shit out of all four of us. By the way, like that never gets talked about. It's like
we didn't sit down for 3 weeks now.
Why even have Kiefer Sutherland turn around and be like, this isn't over? It obviously is. I mean, what was the point of that?
So he could say, "This is big, baby."
Oh,
yeah,
that's it.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
That's it.
Another really strange line from
Yeah,
another male character in that
it is
story.
pretty strange.
Like,
You got to
It's
think.
50s.
You got to think. That's
I'm
the
taking
50s.
this out of your ass. What? Excuse me.
What?
It's a strange line. I don't know. It doesn't. I don't understand why. I don't get why. He made very strange, or you know what? Better yet, the screenwriters made very strange decisions with this movie.
Well, whenever I see guns in movies, I always think of the hundreds and hundreds of inaccuracies with guns.
Yeah.
But you got the first scene. It's a Colt 1911 pistol, and you have to, if it was loaded and the hammer was down, if you bring back the hammer and shoot, it's going to go off. But it's also going to recoil and put another one in there with the hammer back.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So all he's got to do is touch the trigger and it'll go off.
So actually, it did make sense, but they would have to decock it somehow, and then actually for that final scene, he actually pulled back the hammer.
Right. He did it as intimidation.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, if there wasn't actually anything in the chamber at that point, it wouldn't have fired.
I will say this.
It in that first one, there was only 2 shots fired, or no,
There's
one
only
shot
one.
fired out of that pistol. So I guess the one would have been in the chamber.
I will say this though. I when I was 9, I did not root for Wil Wheaton to shoot Kiefer Sutherland. Every other time I've watched this movie, though,
I wanted him to shoot him.
Well, do you guys ever do that, by the way, where you'll watch a movie, and you'll see something will happen. Like in this case, Kiefer Sutherland doesn't get shot. Wil Wheaton goes his way. Kiefer Sutherland goes his way. That's the way the movie ends. But you really want it to happen. And when you watch it the second time or the third time, you're like, maybe this time it'll be different.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like maybe this time, he'll just go ahead and just blast away, just be like, say hello to my little friend, just tear up the whole gang, and in true.
It was an alternate ending.
Yeah, but in true, like A Christmas Story, whenever he's dreaming about the Red Ryder BB gun with the black and white criminals jumping over the fences and stuff, that's what I want to see that gang do. Like, jumping over the bushes and over the train tracks.
This is a big bush,
Yeah,
baby.
and just completely lose it as Wil Wheaton just blasts away with a 1911, which has 43 shots in it because Lord knows it can't be accurate.
Well, John, I posed a question to you then.
Yeah, what was your favorite?
My favorite scene, and this is a very innocuous scene, is the
dead body.
No.
Oh God,
No. The deer scene.
Oh,
okay.
When Gordie's sitting on the tracks and he's writing, and the deer comes out and onto the tracks and just looks at him and isn't threatened by him or anything like that, and then walks away. It's a beautifully shot scene, I think.
I agree.
And also I've caught myself even, I don't know if subconsciously this movie has caused me to do that, but in the movie, Gordie never tells anyone about the deer.
Right.
And I have little snippets of things that happen to me that I don't tell anybody.
Right.
Some cool stuff that I just keep
just keep to yourself.
For myself.
That you're going to share now.
No, I'm not going to share it
Do
with
you
you.
do you think the deer was the boy? The dead kid?
Like
No.
represented
I
like
don't-
a
it could.
Like he was
But no,
hey,
I don't
you're
think-
you're kind of on the right track. Oh, well.
I've never waka waka, literally and figuratively.
Okay,
No, I don't think that.
No? Okay.
I don't think that.
If the deer was the dead boy, this movie got
sorry.
a lot more interesting all of a sudden, by the way.
It
Well,
could have
you
been
know-
a metaphor.
Well, a lot of people
could've
think that like if if you die, there's
Reincarnation.
not necessarily reincarnation, but like, hey, I'm gonna come visit you in another form. Like I'm gonna become a cardinal and like revisit you. So if you ever see a cardinal, that's probably me, type thing. I've seen that in a lot of other movies of animals representing dead people.
Yeah, no, I get that. But this kid, they didn't know this kid, did they? Like, not really?
No, they just heard a rumor,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay.
I think.
So what are we rating this movie, by the
Yeah,
way?
so it's time to rate, and I'm going to propose that whoever picked the movie rates first.
I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's a good idea. I am going to give this.
You
movie
writing this down, John? Justin?
I got it.
For the website?
And we're doing a 1 to 10
A 1 to 10
scale.
scale.
A 1 to 10 scale, and we can't
You can use decimals to the 10th place.
use decimals, but not whole numbers.
Well, those
You
are
can
just
use
rookie
holes.
scores.
You
Yeah,
can
you
use
can
whole
use whole
numbers.
numbers.
You can use whole
we
numbers.
can use
That's
whole
fine.
numbers.
I don't
Okay.
care.
Well, I'm the John score is going to be 8.3.
Wow.
3.
Wow, that's high.
That
Pretty
is.
high. Well, hey,
All right, so then I
Decent score.
was thinking we go clockwise. So whoever gets it, the next person,
okay.
right,
That's fine.
for scoring.
for
So
it.
it would be me.
You.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So I do think 8.3 is high, but not that high. Not as high as pot cookies. I'm gonna go.
Which, by the way, sounds like a better name.
How many
than
pot
Stand By.
How many pot cookies?
I'm
We're gonna
gonna
have to give
give it-
Eddie to like this film.
I'm gonna give it 7 pot cookies.
Oh,
7
Jesus.
pot cookies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's not make this an
I
actual
know.
scale.
I'm
Yeah, not pot cookies. It's a 7.
Yeah, just 7.
Just
All right,
Seven.
Kyle.
Okay.
I actually, thinking about it earlier today, I knew we were going to do a score. I would say it's going to be probably a 6-7.
6.7.
Yeah, it's
Gotcha. And Mr. Eddie.
I'm going to go a 5.5.
5.5. All
Five
right.
and a half. Cool.
Yeah. Now that we're there, now it's time to spin that wheel.
We're gonna
and
spin the
find
wheel.
out-
That would be
Spin that
Yeah,
wheel.
if we average that.
We're gonna
out,
average that out. Yeah.
I
Okay,
am
we
so
average that out.
excited.
That is an 6.8.
6.8.
7.5.
6.87.
So
I'll
if
say.
6.87.
Yeah, well, yeah, 6.8.
Well,
So it would be a
6.8, yeah.
6.88. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, now it's that time to pick next week's movie. So just to recap, we're going to spin 2 wheels. The first one's going to be between either me, Kyle, or Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
And then based off of that, we're going to pick a genre.
Okay.
You ready to do the
Here
spin?
we go. You ready to spin the wheel?
Oh, do we have
Yeah,
audio?
go ahead. Go for
Here
it.
we
Let's hear
go.
Not a whole lot of people.
Oh, Lord. It's Eddie.
It's Eddie.
Oh, no.
You have
Maniacal
your
laugh.
list?
Oh, I got my list.
Okay, so
what genre is it going to be?
So
Oh, yeah,
now
yeah,
this
now
next
we gotta
spin
do a
that we're going to
genre.
do is we're going to predetermine Eddie's fate in genres.
Okay, here we go.
We have a lot of genres.
And remember, while this is spinning, that drama is no longer in the viable categories.
Correct.
Mystery.
Ooh,
Mystery.
Mystery.
Okay.
Let's go with The Signal from 2014.
The Signal.
The
The Signal.
Okay.
Yeah. So you guys know it is, I think it's considered drama and sci-fi and mystery.
Mystery.
So since
All right,
mystery's
cool.
on there.
Do you have a synopsis?
Yeah, actually. So 3 friends look for a signal from a anonymous hacker type guy who says he has information about aliens.
All right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I think I've seen this movie before.
You think?
I think so.
Okay.
But yeah. So that's it for the this episode of Screen Riot. If you're going to follow along with us for the movies, the next movie that we're going to be watching is The Signal from 2014. So next Saturday is when our next episode airs. So stay tuned.
Yep.
Thanks for listening.
All right. See you guys.
Later.
Later.